Hey guys, so yesterday I told you that we would be coming back to the national anthem today. On Tuesday, you read lesson 2, and yesterday you watched the videos and did quizzes. I heard a lot of really good feedback about that. I'm glad you enjoyed the competition of your scores, and so I'm glad you had fun with that. But this is from a citizenship book that typically we would read in the classroom. But since we're not in the classroom, I took some pictures of some pages that I want you to take some time and read. We're not going to read through all the pages in this video, but I am going to share the slides with you. Um, these are just some things that are important to know as American citizens. And so some of this is some things that we talked about last unit in Unit 6, like being a good citizen. We talked about um, voting and paying taxes and taking care of our community, just how those are some examples of being a good citizen. This page right here is all about the history of the American flag, just some good information. This middle paragraph kind of talks about the time when Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem, and then just a little bit of information in the first paragraph about when um, our official flag was created, and then how many stars and stripes we have today. This next page is talking about the way that we should treat our flag. We should never mark it or cut it. If we take it off of a flagpole, it should be folded neatly. Just some things that I know some of you probably practice if you are in Boy Scouts, or maybe if you have a mom or dad who is in the military or was in the military, you might have seen them fold a flag, or maybe you've just watched somebody take a flag off of a flagpole. Maybe you've seen that before. All right, so this page right here is giving us some information about when Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem, and then we have the Star Spangled Banner right below that. It looks really short. When we listen to it, a lot of times we add music to it, and it's long, but if you look at it, it's actually a pretty short poem. And speaking of poems, here's another one called America the Beautiful. It's oftentimes as you will hear it as a song, not necessarily as a poem. But this page right here is where your assignment is going to come from today. In the middle, where it says activity, it says write a poem that describes why you are proud of the United States and what you think is beautiful about our country. Now, you could write about the people, your neighbors, the landscape, the mountains, the lakes, the rivers, um, national parks. I know some of you have been to various states. Maybe you want to write about something you have seen, or maybe it's something you've seen in a book or in a movie, and you just think that's really beautiful. Okay, so you're going to be writing a poem. And there's a rubric attached to this with a couple of examples to kind of help give you some ideas. All right, the last pages are just some symbols of our country. Last week, Mrs. Lamb drew the Liberty Bell. And speaking of that, if you did that, I would love to see your artwork in the Google Classroom that she created. It would just be neat for Mrs. Lamb to see it, and for your classmates just to see what you've been doing. So these are just some symbols of our country. I'm not going to read all of this, but you probably recognize a lot of these. We have the eagle, the rose, um, and some of you might remember that the eagle wasn't originally going to be our national bird. I wonder if any of you can remember which bird Benjamin Franklin wanted it to be. And then we have the Statue of Liberty, and then finally the Liberty Bell. Like I said, if you did that, just post it. It would be really neat to see your work. Okay, so along with the slides that I'm going to post, there will be a rubric, and I'm also just going to post a PDF that gives some information, some history about Francis Scott Key and the national anthem. This assignment, you have 2 weeks to work on it, and I'm really excited to see your work. This is one of my favorite things, just because of the creativity that comes behind it. I'm looking forward to seeing these, and have fun writing. Thanks, guys.